4 U.S. service members confirmed killed in Iran strikes since February 28th. Multiple others wounded in precision attacks on forward operating bases in Kuwait and the UAE. The question everyone's asking, how is Iran targeting American forces with this level of accuracy? A leaked intelligence assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency, dated March 10, 2026, suggests an answer most analysts suspected but few could prove. Quote, high-confidence assessment that Russian satellite intelligence is being shared in near real time with IRGC command structure. Russia isn't just selling weapons to Iran, they're providing the targeting data that makes those weapons lethal. This is how Moscow is helping Tehran kill American soldiers, and why this changes everything about the current conflict. Let me walk you through the intelligence sharing architecture that makes this possible. Layer 1. Russian satellite coverage. Russia operates approximately 140 military satellites. The Persona-class optical reconnaissance satellites provide sub-meter resolution imagery. The Liana electronic intelligence system tracks radio emissions, radar signatures, and communications. Combined, they provide 24/7 coverage of the Persian Gulf region, including every U.S. military installation. When a U.S. convoy moves from Ali al-Salem Air Base in Kuwait, Russian satellites track it. When carrier strike groups reposition in the Gulf, Moscow knows within minutes. When B-2 bombers land at Diego Garcia, the Kremlin has the flight path. Layer 2. Data transfer to Iran. According to the leaked DAA assessment, this intelligence reaches Iran through 3 channels. Channel 1. Direct satellite data link. A ground station in northern Iran, near Tabriz, receives encrypted feeds from Russian satellites. This was confirmed by commercial satellite imagery showing new antenna arrays constructed in late 2000. Channel 2. Russian military liaison officers. The DIA assessment identifies at least 12 Russian intelligence personnel embedded with IRGC Aerospace Force headquarters in Tehran. They provide real-time analysis and targeting recommendations. Channel 3. Chinese intermediary. When direct channels are unavailable, intelligence flows through Chinese satellites and ground stations, then to Iran. This creates plausible deniability for Moscow. The result? Tehran receives targeting data on U.S. forces with a latency of 15 to 30 minutes. In military terms, that's near real-time intelligence. Now let me show you why this matters. March 3, 2026. Iranian ballistic missiles strike a temporary U.S. logistics hub at Camp Buehring, Kuwait. 4 missiles fired. 3 direct hits on vehicle staging areas. Here's what makes this significant. This wasn't a permanent facility. It was a temporary staging area for equipment being moved to forward positions. Commercial satellite imagery shows U.S. vehicles arrived at this location approximately 18 hours before the strike. Iranian missiles require several hours of pre-flight preparation and targeting data input. The timeline suggests Iran received intelligence on this temporary position shortly after vehicles arrived, calculated targeting solutions, and launched within the window before equipment dispersed. That level of precision, hitting a temporary, previously unused location, requires recent, high-quality intelligence, the kind only satellites can provide. March 8th. Similar strike pattern at Al Dhafra Air Base, UAE. Iranian cruise missiles hit fuel storage tanks and a maintenance hangar. The hangar was being used to service F-35 fighters that had just arrived 72 hours earlier. Again, recent intelligence. Again, precision targeting. Pentagon analysts identified this pattern across 11 separate Iranian strikes in the first 2 weeks of conflict. Quote from the DIA assessment, "Targeting precision exceeds Iranian indigenous ISR capabilities by significant margin. Strongly suggests external intelligence support." So why is Moscow providing the support? 3 strategic objectives. Objective 1. Distract us attention from Ukraine. Every carrier strike group deployed to the Persian Gulf is one not available for European deterrence. Every B-2 bomber conducting strikes on Iran is one not training for potential conflict with Russia. Every intelligence asset focused on Iran is one not watching Ukraine or the Baltics. The U.S. military is being stretched across multiple theaters. That's exactly what Moscow wants. Objective 2. Test U.S. air defense responses. When Iranian missiles target U.S. bases, Russia is watching how Patriot batteries respond. Intercept timelines, radar signatures, electronic warfare countermeasures. every Iranian attack becomes a live-fire test of U.S. defensive systems. The data collected feeds directly into Russian military planning for potential future conflicts. They're learning how to defeat American defenses by watching Iran try. Objective 3. Weaken us, Middle East presence, long term. If Iran successfully forces U.S. troop withdrawals or makes the region too costly for American presence, Russia fills the vacuum. More arms sales, more political influence, more leverage over regional energy supplies, and oil prices above $100 per barrel benefit Russia's economy significantly. Moscow has multiple incentives to keep this conflict going. Providing targeting intelligence costs them almost nothing and advances all three objectives simultaneously. Now, the leaked DIA assessment reveals something even more concerning. This intelligence sharing isn't new. According to the assessment, Russia began transferring satellite data to Iran as early as November 2025, 3 months before the current conflict began. Russian intelligence officers conducted training for IRGC personnel on satellite imagery interpretation, targeting methodology, and strike planning. This wasn't a crisis response. This was deliberate preparation. The assessment concludes, quote, Russian support has meaningfully enhanced Iranian precision strike capability against U.S. and allied forces. This represents a significant escalation in Russian willingness to facilitate attacks on U.S. personnel, with implications for broader Moscow-Washington relations. Translation: Russia is actively helping kill American soldiers. That's not arms sales. That's not diplomatic support for an ally. That's direct participation in attacks on U.S. forces. Under international law, providing targeting intelligence to forces engaged in hostilities can constitute co-belligerency. Some analysts argue this crosses into acts of war. Senator Mark Warner, Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman, March 15th hearing, quote, if these intelligence sharing reports are accurate, we need to seriously reconsider our entire approach to Russia. This isn't passive support. This is active participation in killing Americans. The Pentagon hasn't publicly confirmed the leaked assessment, but they haven't denied it either. So what can the United States do about this? Option 1. Expose it publicly. Declassify intelligence showing Russian involvement. Build international pressure. Isolate Moscow diplomatically. Limitation. Russia will deny. Their state media will call it propaganda. And exposure doesn't stop the satellites. Option 2. Cyber countermeasures. Disrupt Russian satellite ground stations. Interfere with data transmission to Iran. Degrade their intelligence sharing capability. Limitation. Cyber operations against Russian military infrastructure risk escalation. Moscow could retaliate against U.S. satellites or communications networks. Option 3. Diplomatic channels. Back channels to Moscow warning of consequences. Escalation management through Russia-U.S. military deconfliction. Limitation. If Russia is deliberately trying to bleed U.S. forces in the Middle East, diplomacy is unlikely to change their calculus. They're getting what they want. Option 4. Military force posture adjustment. Disperse us forces to make targeting harder. Increase defensive systems. Reduce predictable patterns. Limitation. This is defensive. It doesn't stop the intelligence sharing, just makes it harder to act on. The Pentagon appears to be pursuing a combination of options 1 and 4. Selective leaks to pressure Russia, tactical adjustments to protect forces, but no decisive action to stop the intelligence flow, because any aggressive move against Russian satellites or ground stations risks direct U.S.-Russia conflict, and that's a line Washington isn't ready to cross. Here's the strategic reality in March 2026. The U.S.-Iran conflict isn't bilateral. Russia is an active participant, providing the intelligence that makes Iranian strikes lethal. 4 American service members are dead. More will follow if this intelligence sharing continues. And this isn't just about the Middle East. If Russia can help Iran kill Americans with impunity, what message does that send? To China, watching Taiwan. To North Korea, threatening South Korea. To every adversary calculating whether they can challenge U.S. forces, the leaked DIA assessment isn't just about satellites and targeting data. It's about whether the United States can protect its forces when great powers cooperate to bleed them. That's the real intelligence leak here, not the mechanism. The vulnerability. Based on this evidence, Russian satellite intelligence enabling precision Iranian strikes killing U.S. troops? What should the U.S. response be? Drop your answer in the comments. If you want professional military analysis examining what's actually happening in this conflict, not just headlines, subscribe to Groondy. New strategic breakdowns every Tuesday and Sunday. Thanks for watching.